Hello everyone. In today's video, I am going to discuss about the extended Euclid's algorithm. We all know that Euclid's algorithm is basically used to find the GCD of two numbers. So before directly going on to the extended Euclid's algorithm, let's discuss what do you mean by GCD and what are the properties of the GCD of two numbers. We'll go for the Euclid's algorithm first, and then from there we'll move on to the extended Euclid's algorithm. Now coming to the concept of GCD, we all know that GCD of two numbers A and B is nothing but an integer number, a greater integer number which divides both A and B. In the sense, let me assume that A and B are two prime numbers. Let me assume that A and B are two numbers, and both this number A and B has divisor D. Let me assume that D is the divisor of A and B is the divisor of B. Then if D is the divisor of A and D is the divisor of B, then we say that D is the common divisor of A and B. Let me assume that let's have A as 30 and B as 24. We know that for 30 the divisors are, that means divisors of 30 are 30 is divided by 1, it is divided by 2, 3, it can be divided by, can it be divided by 4? No, it can be divided by 5, 6, 7, 8, ruled out 9, 10, 15 and 30. Similarly, divisor of 24 are 1, 2, 24 is divided by 3, 4, 6, 8, 12 and 24. Now, which are the common divisors here? The common divisors are which are the common divisors here? 1, 2, 3, 6, 10 is not there, 15, 30. Yeah, common divisors are 1, 2, 3 and 6. Now the greatest common divisor is the GCD of A and B. Hence I can say GCD of 30 and 24 is 6 in this example. Now this is what we mean by GCD of two prime numbers. Now the algorithm that we can use in order to find GCD of two numbers is the Euclid's algorithm. It is the most popular algorithm. Before going to the algorithm, let's see some of the properties of GCD. Now I can say if A and B are two non-zero numbers, then I can say GCD of A and B is in between 1 and minimum of A and B. We all know that. Okay. If you can take this example, that means GCD of 30 and 24 is 6. It is nothing but the GCD lies in between 1 and minimum of 30 and 24. 30 and 24, minimum is 24. So obviously it has to lie in between 1 and 24. In this case my answer is 6. Now the second thing I can say that GCD of 0, 0. If both A and B are 0, then GCD will be 0. Please note this 2 points which are very important. Now with this, let me go for some of the basic properties of the GCD. These are some of the elementary properties of the GCD function. The first property is I can say GCD of A comma B is nothing but GCD of B comma A. Next, GCD of A comma B is nothing but GCD of the negation of A and B. Third one, GCD of A comma B is nothing but GCD of the absolute value of A and the absolute value of B. GCD of A comma 0, please note that this is very important while using this property. We will be using this property in the Euclid's algorithm. GCD of A comma 0 is A. Next, GCD of A comma K comma A. K, that is GCD of A, and then the second integer is K times A. So the GCD of A and Ka is also A, wherein K belongs to Z. In the sense, K is K can be any integer. It can be a positive integer or it can be a negative integer. That is this Z. This is my set Z. So note that these are the 5 elementary properties of the GCD function. And one more thing is, if I have GCD of two numbers A and B as 1, then we say that A and B are relatively prime. Please note that this is also very important with respect to the RSA crypto system. Hope we all are familiar with the concept of the public and the private crypto system. There is a popular private crypto system by name RSA. Now, in case of RSA, the input are two relative prime numbers. Note that the definition of two relative prime numbers are, when I say that A and B are relatively prime, it implies that the GCD of A and B should be equal to 1. Then we can come up with so many examples. One such example is GCD of 5 comma 7. What is GCD of 5 comma 7? It is 1. Now we say that 5 and 7 are relatively prime to each other. Similarly, I can use one more value for A and B, that is GCD of 11 and 13. What is GCD of 11 and 13? Is also 1. So I say that 11 is relatively prime to 13. So this is about some of the elementary properties of the GCD function. Now we'll quickly go on to the Euclid's algorithm to find GCD of two numbers. Coming to the Euclid's algorithm to find GCD of two numbers, we can associate a recursive definition to find the GCD of two numbers. Let me assume that A and B are two positive integers, and I can state that GCD of A comma B is nothing but GCD of B comma A mod B. Hope we might have learned this particular algorithm in case of recursion. That is, in case of data structure, most of us might have taught you how to find the GCD of two numbers using the Euclid's algorithm. Now the same recursive definition is being put in the form of a pseudocode. If you see, I have named the algorithm as Euclid's, to which I have passed two arguments, A and B. A and B are two non-negative integers. Now if B is equal to 0, return A. If not, recursively call Euclid's algorithm with two arguments. The first argument is B and the second argument is A mod B, which is nothing but the remainder obtained on dividing A by B. Now let's try to apply this particular algorithm to some input. Let me take A and B as A as 30 and B as 21. Now if I call this Euclid's algorithm, Euclid of 30 comma 21, now what happens? Is B is 0? No, it will go for this particular part. So Euclids of 30 comma 21 is nothing but Euclid of B. B is 21 comma A mod B. Now 30 mod 21 is nothing but 9. Now this is nothing but, if I call Euclid's once again, 21 comma 9, is B 0? No. So this is 9 comma, what happens when I divide 21 by 9? 9 2s are 18, so 3 is the remainder. This is 3. Now Euclid of 9 and 3. 9 and 3 will be 3 comma, what is the remainder on dividing the 9 by 3? It's 0. Now I came up with the base case here. So if b is equal to 0, return a. So GCD of 30 and 21, that is the greatest common divisor between 30 and 21 is 3. Now we'll take one more example, the example that we took earlier. It is a as 30 and b as 24. B as 24. Now call Euclids on 30 comma 24. What happens? Is b 0? No. So this is nothing but Euclids of 24 comma, what is the remainder? Is 6. Now call this Euclids of 6 comma remainder on dividing 24 by 6 is 0. So is b 0? I got my GCD 6. So this was about how to find GCD of two numbers a and b with the help of Euclid's algorithm. Now this Euclid's algorithm can be extended further to denote something like this. If d, that means assume that a and b are the two non-negative numbers to which I need to find GCD, and my GCD, let the GCD be denoted with d. So that is GCD of a comma b is denoted with d, and this d can be expressed as xa plus yb. Now, with the help of the extended Euclid's algorithm, we are going to find the value of x and the value of y to which this equation is true. That means d, which is nothing but GCD of a comma b, should be equal to xa plus yb. xa plus yb. So, in order to find this values x and y, which may either be a positive value or it might be a negative value, or it can, the x and y can even be zeros in some case. So we use the extended Euclid's algorithm. So in order to find this, we go for the extended Euclid's algorithm. First we'll see the extended Euclid's algorithm, and then we'll try to trace the extended Euclid's algorithm. Note that the objective of using the extended Euclid's algorithm is to find the values of x and y, is to find some values of x and y such that my GCD of a comma b is equal to xa plus yb. This is the extended Euclid's algorithm. Note that the input to this extended Euclid's algorithm are two non-negative numbers a and b. Now what this basically gives is, the extended Euclid's algorithm gives you the GCD of two numbers. That means it gives you it gives you, let me call it as d, which gives you the GCD of a and b. So finally, if you see at the end, it is going to return d, which is the GCD of the two input numbers a and b. Along with d, it also gives the value of x and y such that it is true for d is equal to ax plus by. So this values of x and y will also be returned. That means this extended Euclid's algorithm basically returns a triplet. That is d, x and y. D is nothing but the GCD of AB, and x and y are some integers such that they are true that when x is multiplied with a and y is multiplied by b, their summation should be equal to d. So note that this is basically the algorithm. Now we'll try to analyze this algorithm with some input. Let me take a as 99 and let me take b as 78. Now if you see, this is, let me take the first column as a, and the second column as b. 99 and 78. So it starts here. If b is equal to 0, whether b is 0? No. Now it calls d, this is a triplet, the extended of b comma a mod b. So what are the other values? This d, x and y are interchanged with these three values. dx, yx, okay, this is, let me have a divided by b. Now what is this a divided by b? 99 divided by 78 is 1. If you see, this is floor of A divided by B. Now in the next iteration, B will be my A, and this part, that means this B is A mod B, 78 mod 99. 78 mod 98, that is 99 mod 78. So how much this is? I had 21, so this will be 21. This is 21. Now 78 divided by 21. 78 divided by 21, this value will be 3. Now in the next iteration, this will be 21. 21 will come here. 21 will come here. Now next is 78 mod 21. So 21, how much? 21 threes are 63. 63, 78 minus 63 is 15. Now 21 divided by 15, its floor is 1. Now in the next iteration it is 15, and this is 21 mod 15. This will be 6. So 15 divided by 6 is 2 point something. So this will be 2. Now 6 will come here, 6, and then the next value is 15 mod 6. This will be 3. 6 divided by 3, this is 2. Now this is 3. 6 mod 3 is 0. 6 mod 3 is 0. Now this is 0, and coming here it is A divided by B, 3 divided by 0. Not consider this. So this is the table that I have constructed. Now in the last, what happens is when I call GCD of extended Euclids of 3, 0, my B is 0, so it is going to return A. So my answer is A. So it is going to return 3. So this 3 is nothing but my D. My D is 3. Now in all these cases also my D value will be 3 only. That is the GCD of 99 and 78 is 3. Now with this it also returns X and Y. It also returns X and Y. Yeah, coming to this value of X and Y in this last step is, I know that D value is 3. So to have this D is equal to AX plus Y, if you note here A is 3 and B is 0. B is 0. To get this D value as 3, obviously this X value needs to be 1 and Y value needs to be 0. That means put this. So this is D is equal to A value is, what is the value of A? In this last iteration it is 3. 3 into 1 plus B value is 0. What is the B value? B value is 0. 0 into 0. So this is 3 into 1 plus 0 is 3. So I got my D value as 3. Now I should find the other values of X and Y in the first iteration, second, third, fourth and fifth, so that this equation is true. This equation should be true. Now if you go back here, what is the value of X? X value is nothing but Y dash. So for the previous iteration here, the X value of X will be this Y. So if you see here, dxy is nothing but d dash and x is nothing but y dash. Y dash is nothing but the value of y in the previous iteration. That means in the next iteration here. So this will be my x now. This will be my x. Now I need to find this particular value. That is, I need to find a value for y dash. Y, that is nothing but this value. So what is this y dash? So this y dash is nothing but x dash minus, what is x dash? X dash minus AB into y dash. Now go for this next iteration here. What is the value of x? Y dash is equal to x dash. That means x dash is this value. So this is 1 minus A divided by B. A divided by B value of the current iteration. It is 2 into y dash. Now what is the value of y dash? Y dash value is 0. So this is 1 minus 2 into 0 is 0. So this is 1. This is 1. So this value will be 1. Now apply this, you should get the same result. That is D is equal to what is the value of A? A value is 6. 6 into X value is 0 plus B value is 3. 3 into 1. What is this? 6 into 0 is 6. 6 into 0 is 0 plus 3 is 3. I got my D value as 3. So these are the values of X and Y. X value is 0 and Y value is 1 when I have my A and B as 3 and 6. Now let's go for the next iteration. In the sense, this iteration. For this iteration, my X value will be this. Y. That is, my X value will be the value of Y of the next iteration. So I need to find this value of Y. So Y value is, I'll call it as Y dash, which is nothing but X dash of the next iteration here. It is 0 minus A divided by B. What is A divided by B? Here also it is 2. 2 into 1. So 0 minus 2 is minus 2. I got my Y value as minus 2. X value is 1 and Y value as minus 2. Now try to apply this for 15 and 6. So D value is 15 into 1 plus 6 into minus 2. So this is 15 into 1 is 15. 6 2s are 12. It is minus 12 is 3. I got my D value as 3. Next, come here. So for this value is minus 2. X value is minus 2. I need to find the value of Y. Y is nothing but Y dash is equal to 1 minus A divided by is 1. 1 into minus 2. So this is nothing but 1 minus A minus this plus 2. So this is 3. Now check for this. So what is the value of A? A is 21. That is D is equal to 21 into minus 2 plus 15 into 3. 21, this is minus 42 plus 45, which is 3. I got my D as 3. Now similarly go for this iteration. So here it is 3. So this is Y dash is equal to minus 2 minus 2, that is this one, minus 2 minus A divided by B. What is A divided by B is 3. 3 into 3. So this is minus 2 minus 9, which is minus 11. So this is minus 11. Now try to apply this. This is D is equal to, sorry, not B, it is D. D is equal to A. A value is 78. 78 into 3 minus, sorry, plus B. B is 21. 21 into minus 11. Please calculate this value. 78 into 3, 20, 24, 3, 21 plus 2, 23 minus 21 into 10 is 210. 210 plus 220 plus 21, 231, which is 317. I got my D value as 3. Now check for this. This is minus 11. I need to find the value of Y. Y dash is equal to 3 minus A divided B is 1 multiplied by minus 11. So this is 3 plus 11, which is nothing but 14. Now check for this value of A and B. That means T is equal to A value is 99. 99 into minus 11 plus B value is 78. 78 into 14. If you perform this operation, you should get 3. So this was about the extended Euclid's algorithm. Note that the extended Euclid's algorithm, apart from finding the GCD of two numbers A and B, it also finds the value of X and Y such that when you perform this operation AX plus BY, it should give me the answer as D. And this is how you trace the extended Euclid's algorithm. Now coming to how many times this extended Euclid's algorithm is called, that is, I can say, the time complexity of this extended Euclid's algorithm. It depends upon, if you see what you have performed, A mod B, A mod B. That means B value was 78. In the next iteration, B becomes A, and then this value is nothing but A mod B. So B here, A mod B, B here, A mod B, B here, A mod B, B here, and then A mod B. Now it depends upon the value of B. That means here the number of times the extended Euclid's algorithm runs is log B. That means I can say the time complexity of the extended Euclid's algorithm is order of log B. Hope this is clear. This was about the concept of the Euclid's algorithm to find the GCD of two numbers, and how to use the GCD, how to use the Euclid's algorithm to have the extended Euclid's algorithm which returns the triplet D, X and Y. Hope this was clear. Thank you.